Hello folks and welcome. So Emmabuntüs, if I can pronounce that right. I think they're doing some great work. It's a non-profit organization trying to help the less fortunate. So today I'm going to be talking about their distribution. I'm also going to give you lots of tips on the desktops. They have an Xfce LXQt desktop all-in-one. You just log in and out of one and into the other. So I'm logged into the Xfce Debian 12 version today. That's their logo there. I'm going to give you lots of tips on their file manager, talk a little bit about their software, talk about the distribution and their great cause, and stuff like that. You're watching this on Linux for Seniors, and no, you're not imagining things. This is actually grayed out. But if you can see this circle down here brightly lit up in the corner, then you're on my official Linux for Seniors YouTube site. And you can click that to subscribe, not here. If you do not see that logo there, then you're watching this on someone else's channel or a website. What do you find if you subscribe to Linux for Seniors? Over 250 videos on all kinds of Linux subject matter. I try to use a little less tech jargon when I do my videos. So in either case, folks, welcome. And again, look for that icon in the corner to subscribe. Now I'm going to take you over to DistroWatch to give you information regarding this distribution. I'm going to go full screen and I will enlarge that slightly. So Emmabuntüs is out of France. Debian-based system. Desktop is LXQt Xfce all-in-one. It just depends on which one you want to log into. It is listed as a beginner's category, and they do offer a live medium so you can test drive it. I don't use the popularity factor on DistroWatch at all, but I do like the layout. So this is a non-profit organization that I think does a lot of nice things for folks. Emmabuntüs.org. And I will enlarge this on the fly. So anyways, you can read about their great causes in here, helping the less fortunate and a lot of folks out there. So something that I would encourage that you read for yourself. But anyways, I think their cause is great. And I like to maybe give videos on folks that do stuff for the community, and more importantly, let's talk about the distribution itself. Do you want to test drive this? If you do, they have the 32-bit and the 64-bit of Debian 12, the dual desktop Xfce LXQt. So it just depends if you want to do the 32-bit flavor or the 64-bit. The respective downloads is 3.7 and 3.9. If you wanted the older versions, they're downstairs, and you can now see the MDAs, the MD5s and the SHAs. And more importantly, just be patient with the downloads. All right, so Emmabuntüs, check out their great cause. Now let's talk about the desktop. So I'm going to walk you through, and there's lots of things. I chose the full install, so it has a lot of stuff for the kids also. And then I'll show you how to make a logout launcher. This one just double clicks and shuts down the system. And you have a way to get out this way, this way, this way, and right clicking on the screen at the bottom also. All right, lots of different ways to get out of the system. Lots of different ways to open up software. So let me start off by giving you a couple of keyboard shortcuts. So you saw me open up the web browser, and it doesn't matter what web page I'm on. So I'll go to the website here, and I'll do the hold down the control key and scroll in and out. What exactly am I doing here? Well, first of all, I'm using a tower computer with a M585 computer mouse. It's wireless. And a K850 wireless keyboard, also a Logitech. So I'm not using a laptop like the picture. I'm using a tower computer with standard keyboard, standard mouse, holding down the control key, scrolling in and out. This will go to 30% minimum to 500% maximum. If you're using a Chromium web browser using the same trick, I believe it's 25%. I'm going to use Alt and F4 to close that though. I'm going to use Alt and F3 to open this. This is an application finder. So you can type in what you're looking for. Alt and F4 closes that box. So a couple of tips there for you. Here's the menus. Lots of software. I mean a whole slew of software. Okay, there's tons of software, including stuff for the kids, because I chose the full install. There's a couple of options during the installation process. They ask you questions. Some interesting questions too. But anyways, nonetheless, LibreOffice, I believe, is 7.4, if you're curious. Lots of different settings. Lots of different system software too. So they have a flat pack that's in their software store. And then you also have Synaptic Package Manager and also a thing called Packages. So 3 ways to install software. Actually 4. You can open up Terminal also. But there's the software store. So let me start with that one. All right, the very simple name for this thing is just called Software. GNOME Project 43.5. And you can certainly look for stuff. All point and click. So if I was looking for GIMP, for instance, it's already installed, but I want to show you the other version. So if you don't know too much about GIMP, I use it pretty heavily. I used to, so I had a previous channel with 450 videos on it, and I used to use this a lot. Let's put it that way. I still use it on my new channel with those 250 videos. But anyways, GIMP is like Photoshop. It has 2 versions. One coming from FlatHub and one with the Debian, and the one from Debian is installed. All right, so what is flathub.org? Well, there's 30 plus distributions that kind of feed off of that. In other words, get software from there. So a lot of people like Flatpak software for one reason, and that because the software runs in a sandboxed environment, isolated from your system. That's one reason. And sometimes it has to do with version numbers. All right, just wanted to point out that in here, you can find Flatpak. So I'm going to do an Alt and F3 and type in SY for Synaptic Package Manager. And we're going to open that up. Or I'm going to open that up. 63,753 packages are listed in Synaptic, and 2534 are installed. And it does not contain Flatpak software. So that means you got more than that to install. This stuff is coming from, I believe, Debian. Okay, so you can certainly install software here also. Mark it for install, mark the packages, and then hit the apply key right where this thing is circling. You can also do keyword searches. Do it by, if you know the exact name of the package, or just do a general description and name. Legends are here. White boxes indicate not installed. And again, this is Synaptic Package Manager. There's one more item in here. I'll just click in here and type in SOFT for software, and it says packages. And you can also go by that and apply. Okay. Lots of different ways to install software. We have this way to look for software. We got the search feature. We got the Alt and F3. I'm going to use Alt and F4 to close that box. We have this way. We have right-clicking on the screen. There is all kinds of ways you can find software. Okay. On the dock, you'll find your home folder, your Firefox, and a whole litany of software and settings, including your trash can and a logout key. Let's talk about the file manager. File manager, this current desktop, I should probably give you that information. That's all right, so I put in hard because this application is made by Hard Info, but System Profiler and Benchmark. All right, so this is made by Hard Info. Anyways, that's why I use that search. But I will, actually, let me just resize this box. So this is based off of Debian 12. You can see my CPU, and I'm that much RAM, and just happens to be one of my demo machines, and I'm filming in 1920 by 1080. So this is system information, and this tool here made by Hard Info has a whole litany of stuff that you can perform. So the kernel is 6.1. Okay, you can tell how long I've been running this. Anyways, let's talk about the file manager. file manager for the logged in screen is Thunar, because I'm in Xfce, not LXQt. LXQt would be PCManFM. So this is Thunar. Grab a hold of the box, double click, doesn't matter if it's over here or over here. It's the same thing as me clicking that. I can also click and hold and push it straight up in the air, and it'll go full screen, and then pull it down. Click and hold, push it straight up, pull it down. Right click, resize. So if it's resized in this format, this is the same thing as doing this and this and this and that. It all is dependent on the same settings. It all depends on where you resize that thing last. I will leave it in that format. I'm going to first show you my way of resizing icons, then I'll show you the system way. Holding down my control key, because I'm using a regular keyboard, and I'm going to be using my computer mouse scroll wheel, not a touchpad. Scrolling up to make it huge, scrolling back to make it dinky, and somewhere in between. You can certainly click zoom in and out in normal. And what does that Control plus KP plus mean? Hold down your control key and hit the plus key repeatedly. Hold down your control key and repeatedly hit the minus keys to make things bigger or smaller. Holding down the control key, plus, 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 minus, 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 and I'm tired. All right. Holding down the control key, scrolling up, scrolling back, you can probably see is a lot faster. All right, let's move on. Documents, text files. This is Genie. Holding down the control key, scrolling in, scrolling out to make things bigger. I'll go full screen. Since this is so dark, I'm going to try to let you see where the window is. And scrolling up on my computer mouse, holding the control key to make things bigger. Holding down the control key, scrolling backwards to make it dinky or small. And somewhere in between. I'm going to pull down on that. So we have a Control Q for quit. We have the red X in the corner, and we also have Alt and F4. Alt and F4 it is. PDF. All right, so let's say I'm scrolling through here and I want something larger. I don't know what that looks like. Hold down your control key and scroll up with your computer mouse. I'm going to pull that in, or you can use the little drag bars. I'll go full screen. Holding down the control key, scrolling back, scrolling forward, scrolling back, scrolling forward. Using my let go of the control key and using the arrow keys, you can go up and down. Or you can do page up and down. Holding the control key back down again while scrolling forward and back. Okay. Pulling that down to resize the box. Right clicking, you can also resize, and you can also do this manually. Again, what's another command for that X in the corner? Alt and F4. Okay. Pictures, right click, set as wallpaper. Bring in those digital photos of the kids or whatever it might be. Okay. Double click, hold down the control key, scroll back and forth to zoom. Okay. Next frame, next frame, next frame. Hamburger menu. This is G-thumb. A lot of the Xfce desktops use different viewers. Okay, that's why a lot of times I'll go over stuff like this. I'm going to open up my demo drive, and I am going to look for a digital photo, and I will grab this one and copy it and throw it in my pictures folder. And I will right click on the file, and the image was taken with an iPhone 12. I will resize the box. So you can get all the particulars of the photo if you bring in that kind of information. If you are copying files and folders, I show you a couple of different ways. You can certainly click on one thing, hold down your control key, and then click objects like that. You can also do it as a group by clicking and dragging through the images or files or folders. If I wanted to do this group of two here and then hold down the control key in this group, then I can right click and copy those. I can also do a control C. It doesn't show that here though. I'm going to walk over to here and let you see that control C. Copy. Control X is cut. Control V is paste. These are the same commands as in your Microsoft Windows system. Control C, Control V. If you're on a Mac, it will be the Mac key and C for copy and Mac V for paste. Lots of different ways to think about things. I can also use Control A. Control Alpha selects everything. I can also drag it as a group, and if I meant to not select an image, then I let go of the let go of the mouse. So if I'm dragging, I let go of the mouse, and then I'm going to hold down the control key of the images I don't want, like number 10 and number 4. And now I'm going to right click and copy the rest of them, or Control C. Just different ways of selecting files. Holding down the control key again, zooming up, let go of the control key, and now this is an enormous size. Going full screen. Holding down the control key, scrolling back makes them dinky or tiny. Scrolling back forward makes them huge, and in between. You can do that on any folder. Scrolling in and out. You can select files any direction. You can do it individually and hold down the control key just to select 2 items. So this mouse pointer here actually came from this file. All I did was extract it here. And I threw it in this folder here, Control H. And in here. There are 2 mouse pointers installed. This one is what I'm currently using. The other ones look like this. So I'm going to use Alt and F4 and close this briefly. I can either go here to open that, or I can go here and open that. So type in mouse, M-O-U-S-E, and look for mouse and touchpad. If you have it installed in .icons, it will show up in this menu. I have lots of videos on my YouTube site. Again, if you don't see this logo here, you're not watching that on my channel. And you can go onto a web browser and put in @Linux for Seniors, all one word, no spaces, and find my channel, or go to YouTube. Again, if you don't see that brightly lit icon. All right, these 2 are installed in .icons. These are installed in USR share icons. That's in your system. This is the default. I think it's that one. Okay, but you do have these installed already, or will have if you install the full install. You don't have these though. Those I installed manually. And again, they're just installed in this folder right here. I made that folder. I do that normally anyways. Let's right click, create folder. You can do that in 2 seconds. I can also delete this. Okay, so if I have, do I have my settings open? No. So let me minimize this for a second. You see this Pokemon here? I'm going to delete it. So I'm going to walk over to my file manager, and first I'm going to make sure my trash can is empty because I'm going to do a restore. So anyways, it's gone. So I will minimize the file manager. You can still see it here, but what I'm going to do is back this out and type in mouse again to reopen the box, and it'll be gone. There's no Pokemon here. So I'll back this out to go to that screen for a second, and I'm going to pull it out of the trash can. Right click, restore, and close. Type in mouse, because I don't want to go search for it. And it should be back online. There it is right there. So that's why I use the file manager to do stuff like this. Some folks will use this setting right here. I don't. I normally have 100% success rate when I use the file manager. This one here is almost a hit and miss sometimes. Sometimes things don't install properly. But then again, that's your choice. But I do have some videos for you to watch in case you want to do that yourself. So there are lots of little tips like that that I have on a lot of different things. So again, for the web browsers, just a quick, if you're wanting to resize the innards, your tip of your pointer just has to be somewhere below this line to do what I'm about to do. Hold down the control key, scroll backwards, and scroll forwards to enlarge to whatever size you want, from 30 to 500%. I'll leave that at 120. Alt and F4 to close. What happens when I use Alt and F4 now? It will give me this dialog box. That's another way of shutting down your system. Let's talk about this key right here. Right click, create launcher. I have two ways of doing this. You can use it a simple way, or you can also do it a different way. If I do sudo power off, that will also work. I'll give it an icon. Shut. Yeah, they do have a shutdown. I've got two of them actually. I'll use the red one. And I'll call that one power off because that's the command. And I am going to emphasize the word now. That's all I need. And that's done. These two do the exact same job. Except I created that with the system protocol. What do I mean by that? All right, so first of all, let's talk about your desktop behavior. You have an icon here, two of them. I can move this around with confidence on not having it trigger by accident because the desktop setting is currently set for double click. In other words, this is off. If you decide to turn this on, be very careful with these things, because as soon as you try to move them and you misclick, it'll power down your system. When you turn this off, which is default, it's double click. So far so good? Okay. A couple more things while I'm in here. You can, there's an arrow key in here in case you wanted to turn off your removable devices or even activate some of the other home folders and file system, for instance, or even trash. You already have a trash can here. That's okay, if you want that. Your icon sizes are up here. And I'm going to increase that and let's just see what happens. Ooh, they went to a different color. Yeah, depends on the size of the icon. Kind of a strange attribute if you think about it. Anyways, I'll leave it at 90. So again, this is turned off, and it is off by default, by the way. If you manually turn that on, be careful when moving these. So what do these do? Well, when you double click them, they power down the system, no questions asked. Unlike these, it's asking me to click. All right, so I'm going to create another one of these from the system protocol. Right click, create launcher. SHU, that's all you need to do. Click that, hit create twice, and you're done. That icon and that icon are identical. All three icons perform the same action. You double click them, they power down your system, no questions asked. But I thought I'd show you at least two versions of this. Now, you can also change the icon itself. Let's say you wanted, you didn't like that icon. This is the, again, I created this way. Right click, create launcher, SHU. If you don't want to do the shortcut. Okay, so I'm going to right click on it and hit properties and change that icon. Pick anything you want out of the system. You can even pick silly stuff. Anything from the system. I'll do the UFO thing here. Okay, and it'll probably look kind of weird. I'll pick another one. I'll pick that one. Just to have a little fun. They all do the same job though. They all power down the system. Okay? You don't need three, obviously. I'm just giving you some examples to have fun. All right, folks, let's take a look at our trash can, and you can empty it this way. You can also open up your file manager and empty it. Where's the trash? Right here. You can empty it that way. It doesn't matter how you do it. You can also right click and empty that, middle click, and do the check mark. So again, Alt and F3 opens up that dialog box. Alt and F4 closes that. And if you do another Alt and F4, It does that. This also works in Windows 11, by the way. It will just give you the shutdown dialog box. Unless you got a laptop, then maybe Function Alt F4. Because a lot of the function keys are pre-assigned on laptops. Just keep in mind, I'm using a standard tower computer, standard keyboard. That's why I'm using Alt and F4 instead of Function Alt and F4. If I was on a laptop, I sometimes have to use the function, then Alt and F4 to perform those close button actions. Thank you for watching.